Welcome on into the first lesson of how to use Flashback. If you've not already got the mod installed, go back and watch the previous video on how to download and install the mod. In this lesson, we're going to be focusing on how to use the mod in general. So firstly, how do you access Flashback? Well, it's nice and easy. Here on your home screen, on the right hand side, you'll see this little camera icon here. That's going to open up all of the recordings here inside of your instance. If you create a folder inside of your Flashback replays folder, this is also going to display here to help you keep this nice and clean, unlike me who keeps it all messy. On this screen, you'll also see a button that says Flashback Options. The main two screens you'd use here is your recording controls and your recording. To make this real quick for you, if you'd like to turn off the automatic start to a recording, you just have to click that there. If you'd like to turn off the automatic finish, click that there. By default, these will be turned on. In your recording panel, you're going to have a few other options. I don't typically mess around with these. These are all default, apart from record voice chat. This is going to allow you to record everything that's said over voice chat, whether that's within the group that you're in or if it's the people around you. So if you haven't already, go ahead and record your first clip. It only needs to be a couple of minutes long here to allow us to play around. I'm going to use this one here. It's 26 minutes long. I just select that and I click Open Replay. And here we go, you're inside of your first recording here. Now this can look pretty overwhelming at first, especially with this long list of different details down the right hand side. We're going to be ignoring this for this video, but we'll be touching that in the next lesson. Today we're going to be purely focusing on the viewer, the timeline, and how to export your first ever video. So first of all, the viewer. This is this main screen here that lets you view. If you go ahead and hold down your left click and drag, that's going to let you move the camera around, and WASD is going to let you actually move the physical camera. Much the same as in-game, if you hold shift, it's going to take you down, and if you hold space, it's going to take you up. If you'd like to move the camera a bit quicker, you can hold down your sprint key, whichever you have that assigned to, and you can come in and you can scroll with your mouse, and that's going to adjust this flying speed here so you can get real close and precise, or we can speed right up because I know I want to go right across here real quick. That then brings us down to our timeline. Now these buttons here are pretty self-explanatory. You can click play, you can speed up how quick that movement is, you can skip forwards or you can skip backwards to your next point. One thing I would recommend is before you start doing anything within your flashback, click play for a couple of seconds here, then pause it. That's going to let the world around you load in. Sometimes it's a little bit slow. Now the timeline here is going to show us our full track, our full recording. So we go right up to our 26 minutes there. If you're wanting to zoom in, you hold down your left Alt button and scroll forward on your mouse. That's going to bring you all the way in nice and close. You can also go ahead and touch anywhere along your timeline here, and it's going to jump your time ahead so you can see everything is changing around me there. Or you can scrub it along as well if you're trying to work out where everything is happening really quickly. So that's great. We know how to move our camera around here. We know how to change the time itself, but how do we go ahead and get our camera in? Well, it's really simple. You want to come down to Add Element. And that's going to bring up this drop down of multiple options here. All we want to focus on right now is the camera. And you'll see this now brings up a camera bar here. We've got a couple of options. First of all, we can disable the track or enable the track. We also have this little hamburger menu here. This will give us a drop down to rename. It'll let you set the color. So I want this as red, so I know this is my live camera. We can then delete the track and then we can clear keyframes. And to add a keyframe, you just come in here and you click this plus button. And you'll notice there's now a green and yellow box on my screen there. And this is our camera. This represents what we are seeing right now in this moment. If I go ahead and click play, it's going to snap me to that. And now you can see I'm inside of the camera's point of view. Okay, but there's a lot of movement by myself and Pixels in this scene that I'm trying to record. So I want the camera to come back down to here. So we just come in again, we click new keyframe, further along, let's zoom in a little bit. And if we move off of this spot, you'll see we now have this second camera spot laid out for us, along with this very, very faint yellow line here joining the two together. That faint yellow line is our camera path. So if I move this into the middle, you'll now see we've got the green box, and as we move this along, the green box moves along that camera path, showing us exactly where it is. Okay, and there we go. We've got our first scene here with a little bit of camera movement. Look at that, perfectly timed there. And now we want to go ahead and export this. So to export this one specific area here rather than the whole timeline, we just want to click the letter I on our keyboard for our in point, and then we have our out point when you click the letter O. This is going to go ahead and highlight that part of the timeline in blue, and that way you know that's the exact part that is getting exported. Now as I come ahead and I zoom in here, you might notice that our endpoint isn't right in line with our final keyframe there. Of course we can drag it right into place, but what we can also do is if you grab your scrubber and hold down the left shift button, and whilst you drag, that's going to let you come in and it'll snap straight onto those keyframes for you. This way we can then click I, we can come here, we can click O, and now it's precise. Now we're not going to be exporting any extra frames that we don't need. So how do we go ahead and start exporting this? It's super simple once again. You just want to come up to the top left and click File, Export Video, and this will bring up your Export to Video panel here. Now we have a few settings to play with. Yours isn't going to look the same as mine. This is my custom settings. When you first open this up, it's not going to have record audio selected, so if you'd like to use the audio within your clip, this is particularly important if you're using the simple voice chat mod, then it's going to export that. You want to click stereo as well, so all sounds good, and don't worry about your audio codec, any of these are going to work fine. You'll then see down at the bottom we have two options. So you can start your export just to export this one shot straight away, or we can click add to queue. Adding this to the queue is going to allow us to name this job, so I want Pixels Tour, and then I click Queue Job, and this is going to open up a folder where you'd like to export this video to. It's not going to start exporting it straight away, it'll add it into the queue, so make sure that your jobs aren't named the same things. And now we have that in the queue, we can go ahead, we can make another shot here, so here's the second shot I'm going to use. We're going to come up to File, we're going to click Export Video once again. I'm going to add this to queue. And then to begin exporting these, you just want to click Export Queue and we'll say Start All. This will bring up your exporting screen. Here it's going to walk you through each frame that's within the shot that you've got. Give it a couple of minutes or seconds depending on your PC just to run through and get this all exported for you. And excellent, there you go. You have created your first moving shot within Flashback. This is going to be ready just to drop straight into your video editing and you can get moving on those time lapses or those nice cinematic moments. In the next lesson, we'll go ahead and focus on our visuals panel a bit more. We'll have a look into all of this and what they do and how they can best be used for your videos. Before you go ahead and watch the next lesson, I urge you, go have a play with this, see what angles you can make, see what fun you can do, have a little play around with the visuals panel as well, and then we'll come in and we'll explain it in detail next time. So if you break anything, we can fix it. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.